What if I told you there are ways to read books from your favorite authors without paying money for them, and that none of them include pirating or hurting authors' livelihoods? Late-stage capitalism and rampant consumerism can make you feel like you have to own and possess and showcase to be a part of the reader community. But I'm here to tell you that there is another way. More than one, in fact, and none of these ways compromise the relationship between a reader and the authors of their favorite books. Actually, some of them enhance it, going as far as getting you involved in the creative process. So grab a drink, sit comfortably, and let me tell you 7 ways to read books for free without using underhanded tactics. I'm a reader and an author, so this whole video comes from a place of love for books and all the people involved in creating them and enjoying them. I'm part of some lovely author and reader communities, and I know that the cost of living crisis is pretty much everywhere, and entertainment might be the first to go from our lives. That would be a shame though, so we have to do what we've been doing for ages: get creative and keep reading, no matter what. I've got my trusted pink notebook here, so let's dive straight in. Oh, and if you stay till the end, I'll give you one extra tip on how to read books for free. Okay, here we go, starting with ways to read stories before the books are even published. First is alpha reading. Alpha reading is when you read an author's very early draft. Sometimes it's in full and sometimes it's chapter by chapter. It's raw, unedited, and still being written as you start reading it. To get involved, you have to keep an eye on writing communities like Facebook, Instagram, Discord servers, Patreon pages, author newsletters, and places like that where authors often seek out trusted readers for feedback. Pros include getting the story early, sometimes even before the full plot is known to the author. You can really influence the direction of the story, and if you connect with the author, you get the opportunity to get involved in future projects, and you can even become friends. But there are cons. These drafts are very rough. They usually have a lot of typos, plot holes, missing scenes, sometimes names don't even exist, and you have a lot of placeholders. And you're expected to give feedback, which means time and commitment. There are often deadlines, and especially if you read chapter by chapter, there might be the need to return to the manuscript every week or so to give your feedback to the author. So the connection to the story you start having might make it harder to be objective. Option number 2 is beta reading. A step further along in the process, beta reading means reviewing a more polished manuscript, often right before it goes to editors or even to advanced readers. This is a great option if you want early access but you prefer cleaner drafts or even full drafts and you don't want to read chapter by chapter. You can find beta reading opportunities through the same options as alpha reading opportunities, so writing forums, critique groups, or by following authors online. I actually have a novella coming soon that will need beta readers, so keep an eye out, but a little bit about it. It's called Unlawful, and it takes place in the world of Onyx Grove. I've been reworking it to suit my current state of writing mind, and I'm very excited. Unlawful is a romance story about Ruby, who gets accused of killing her boyfriend, and Kurt, who is her lawyer. But also we have the tattoo artist and mob fixer Josh, who joins in the fun. And the three of them discover that they're entangled in ways that aren't very easy to understand. And hopefully, by the end of the story, you will like them all as much as I loved writing them. I'm introducing them all in my next newsletter, together with the Better Reader Call. So, yeah, keep an eye out if you enjoy stories that are a little bit forbidden and quite steamy. Pros of beta reading include early access to a nearly finished book, deeper involvement in the creative process than just reading the book, but not as deep as alpha reading, and also connecting with other beta readers. So you get to access this community that can talk about a book that isn't even out yet. I think that's great. There are cons though, because it still might be rough. The story has a lot of things to be fleshed out still, and you will be often working on a deadline, so you'll have to read the book quickly. Usually it's about 2 weeks if it's a self-published book, where traditionally published books allow for more time, usually about 3 months, but still it is a deadline. And you will probably have to keep things confidential until the book comes out. Some authors really like people discussing things online, but others are very hush-hush about the way they deal with their beta reading teams. Now, after the book has been beta read, it goes to an editor or two. It usually goes through formatting, and an early copy is created. This early review copy or advanced review copy, also known as ARC, is a pre-release copy that can be sent to readers. And usually readers are expected to provide an honest review in exchange for that, or sometimes it's sent as a PR copy, and influencers are asked or paid to do promotions with this copy. These copies are often very close to the final product, with some minor errors still to be corrected. And by minor, I mean minor. There are typos, commas, sometimes like little formatting glitches, nothing more. You can get ARCs through platforms like NetGalley, or by joining an author's mailing list or street team. You can also get some offered to you by authors and publishers if you have a fairly big following online. The pros are that you get the whole book at once, and it's nearly final, and you still enjoy that early access feeling because you're reading it before the general public. But there are, as usual, cons. There are, as with all of the early release stuff, deadlines to post your review. Usually this is the day that the book releases, or within a week of release date, so that your reviews can be favorable towards the algorithm and how the book kind of ranks on online stores. ARCs are limited in number usually, especially if you want big authors or authors that go the traditional route. But if you're just starting out on NetGalley, for example, build up your reputation, and the more good reviews you have, and by good I mean on time and consistent, you will get books that you really, really want, because publishers can see that you are reliable. Occasionally, a few typos will slip through, so if this is something that drives you insane, that is also a con, and you probably need to wait for the finished version. And on the topic of the finished version, we continue on with how to read books that are already published, still for free and still without doing anything illegal and anything that will hurt authors, like pirating books. Number 4 is free deal websites. These are sites like BookBub, FreeBooksy, and Fussy Librarian that let you sign up for alerts when books go free or when they're heavily discounted. Once you've set your preferences, you barely have to do anything. You just wait for the deals to hit your inbox. The pros are that these websites include both indie and traditionally published books, and you're in complete control of what alerts you get, like what kind of genre you want or which authors you want to follow, so you don't get that big inbox clutter. And once you're set up, it's very low effort. You don't have to go out of your way to look for books. You get a daily or a weekly email blast where you have a lot of free options to choose from, and you always have a read to hand. The cons are that the deals are time limited, so you have to grab them as soon as you see them. Some of them expire as fast as a day, so you need to be constantly checking if you have a particular thing that you're waiting for. Often it's just the first book in a series, so you might get hooked and then you need to buy the rest. Not all books or series will be offered, so if you have a particular thing that you're waiting for, you might not find it. Authors often try to push books that are not as popular, So if you're waiting for the really big hitters, you might need to wait a while. My sixth option for how to get free books the legal way is to participate in reader swaps and book exchange groups. These are online or local communities where readers trade physical or digital books. Think Facebook groups, Reddit communities, or little free libraries in your area, or even just your reader friends that you have. You don't need to buy new books every time. If a friend already has a book, it's perfectly valid to ask them to borrow it and to suggest that you can give them another book that they might love. And there's a lot of pros to this. You meet a lot of other readers and you build community around reading, which can feel very empowering and can foster a real sense of belonging. You can discover books that you might have never picked yourself because someone knows you and they can recommend something that will really resonate with you. And it's also a very sustainable way to read and to make sure that books are getting used more than once and are not just gathering dust on your bookshelf. There are a few cons. Exchanging ebooks can be a legal gray area depending on licensing and where your friends have got the books from. So be very careful about exchanging ebooks, and specifically if people send you to a website to download your own copy, that is probably a pirate site unless it's the author's website. You'll also need to be fairly organized to do this. It takes time and effort to deal with people and to build real relationships, so it has a lot more hurdles than just buying a book on Amazon, because people can be flaky and unreliable. But I think, the pros are more than the cons. Option number 5 is themed newsletters and promotions. These are curated emails or bundles based on specific genres, tropes, or authors. For example, a fantasy romance week where multiple books go free or for 99 cents for a few days. The pros are that there is less noise because these newsletters and promotions are curated and there are more relevant recs to you. It's a great way to find hidden gems. The cons are that they are time limited, like deal sites, so sometimes you can miss them. If you just see them, I suggest you grab any books that you like. Sometimes promotions are hosted on external sites that can be a little bit clunky, and you don't always have a good support about e-reader compatibility and stuff like that. I actually have a newsletter that shares a couple of promotions like these every month. So if you like discovering new authors without endless scrolling, it's worth checking out. I will drop the link in the description below. And our final option, number 7, is the library. It's a classic, but still one of the best options out there. Libraries offer both physical and digital books through apps like Libby or BorrowBox. You can often request specific titles, and in places like the UK, authors get paid every time you borrow one of their books, so it actually supports them too. For the record, this happens for both ebooks and physical books, so when you request books from your library, you are definitely supporting authors. The pros are that they have massive catalogs and are totally free once you have a card. Many libraries get new releases pretty quickly, so if you want to be on top of the genre, you are definitely well cared for by your local library. There are, of course, some cons, and those are mainly cons to do with patience and waiting, because there are waits for popular books and sometimes for very niche books that libraries get only 1 or 2 copies of. When you get a book on loan, that loan does expire, and if there are other people waiting for the book, you have to prioritize that read within the time frame, so there is a bit of a deadline or a bit of a timing issue for you. And finally, you don't get to keep a copy for yourself for rereading whenever you want. So this is something that has come up with me a few times. I do love reading from the library, but if I love a book very much, I will buy my own copy. So in a way, it is quite a sustainable way to test reads and to find new favorite authors. And these are all the ways I could think of to read books for free. Before I let you go, I wanted to highlight again that these ways are all legal and support authors, many of whom need all the help they can get to continue writing. I often see websites floating about social media that advertise getting all of the books you want for free, but we all know it's just another pirate website. These sites hurt authors, especially authors enrolled in exclusive programs like Kindle Unlimited, so if you can find the patience or resources to obtain a book you want in any other way, please do that. Don't fall for the fast and easy ways of pirating if you truly love reading. The industry is becoming exceedingly difficult for all of us, but smaller niche authors are particularly in danger, and they risk being pushed out for good. And before this video becomes too sad, I promise that for those of you who stay till the end, there would be a hidden extra point about reading books for free. You've earned it, and the secret is YouTube. More and more authors are putting their audiobooks on YouTube for free after realizing services like Audible aren't treating them fairly. But be careful, ensure that the channel you tune into is a genuine author channel and not a pirate trying to make money off someone else's work. Authors will have their names as the title of their channel, similar to mine. And on that point, if you like dark romance with a twisty mystery plot and characters finding family in the most unexpected places, you can listen to my novel The Lavender Phantom right now. The link is in the top right corner on the screen somewhere and in the description. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to subscribe to my newsletter so you don't miss the better reading call coming soon. I hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comments if I have missed any clever ways to read books for free, and don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time!